to all of our dynamic agents and investors nationwide. Today is Thursday, January 15th, 2026, and this is All the Leads Mastermind Podcast number 560. We have someone coming on today that offered to share some success stories. I don't see him yet. So, Tim, you want to go ahead and start the show off in the meantime?
I'm was expecting you to have that, so I didn't have anything prepared. So let's hear you sing, Jim.
No, I can't sing. Not at all. Travis
Well,
Wade, I don't see you here, Travis. If you
no, he's
are,
not
put
here
your
yet,
hand.
but he's not
He's
here.
not here yet.
Why don't you give him a buzz? I'll do a little housekeeping. Uh,
Okay.
be aware, guys, that the whole purpose of this call is you, not us. We know what we sound like. We want to hear what you sound like. We'd love to answer your questions. Certainly happy to hear great success stories and any stumbling blocks you're running into. We'll give it our best shot to try to help you get over them. We got a good staff of people here ready to help you and anxious to do just that. So anytime you want to do that, look at the bottom of your screen. You'll see the little heart. And if you click on the little heart, you'll see something that says raise hand. And that'll cause the little hand to go up just like it is on mine. And we'll call on you after asking you to unmute. So that's kind of the way this works. That's kind of what we're looking for here. We're looking to hear some good things and certainly looking to hear some challenges and here to help. We've had great action for a while and, we're kind of rolling back into the beginning of the year and we're kind of out of excuses. We're already in it. So it's time to be rolling. Jim, any news there, Bubba?
No, it went right to voicemail. So
Okay.
I guess, yeah.
All right.
Plan B until he
All
shows
right.
up. If
As
he
it
does.
often happens, it does go that way. So I will alert all of our coaches and others that you're about to get tagged here and wanted to let you know that. I'm going to start with my friend Matt, Mr. Melia. Oop, are you there? Got to put your head on.
I'm here.
Hey, bud, how are you?
Doing great. How are you? Happy New Year.
Same to you, my friend.
We could still say that, right? It's not too late in
Yeah,
the month. I mean, we're getting it's
you can do
borderline.
up through the 15th, I think.
Oh, that's good. All right, very good.
So you're still golden, and then after that, it's like
Yeah.
wearing white shoes after Labor Day. You can't do that.
Right.
So what's new in the world of dialing for dollars?
A lot of good stuff. I mean, we've had a lot of conversations, been getting people, it seems like people are finally coming out of their siesta. The AI clones have been going very well too. That's kind of been the world I've been living in. So I've created a lot of some AI stuff for myself, and it's been good for getting out in front of folks. And I mean, yeah, as far as going back to the calling side though, seems like more people are kind of, for lack of better words, coming out of their cocoon. So the calls have been going well, a lot more conversations, and yeah, we're getting opportunities left and right. So it's a good thing.
That's awesome, bud. Always good to hear that. And obviously, you are like a lot of other people. You're where people vote with their wallets, and they keep coming and keep being satisfied. That's what makes them happy. So always important to know that. We appreciate hearing that. So, Jim, I don't know what you guys were kicking around in the beginning. I heard you chatting with Aline, and just going to ask you guys to maybe pick that discussion up a little bit.
Sure. Go ahead, Elaine. She was just sharing the value of people showing up for repeat coaching calls, not just when you sign up, but to keep coming back. So you want to expand on that a little bit, please?
Yeah,
Elaine?
sure, absolutely. So excuse me for having to keep my camera off this week. What I was speaking with Jim about before we got on is that I was really pleasantly surprised and happy that some of the subscribers are taking advantage of the complimentary monthly coaching call that we can have and the benefits of it. So when you're talking about something at the very onset of starting with all the leads and then following up the following month after you've had your leads, you've had some objections that you're handling, so we can really support you, and it's there. So being able to take advantage of it is really ideal. So I was very happy to see at least 4 of the subscribers this past week were repeat. and it's definitely beneficial because I can just jump into where we were the last time.
Very cool. Very
Mm-hmm.
cool. Appreciate that. You know,
Yeah.
what I think, and go back to what Matt is saying about the AI clones and all of that. I was kind of reluctant to comment on this, but we're part of a kind of a larger group of folks that have banded together, and we all share our AI challenges and excitement and all kinds of other stuff, and almost on a daily basis. Becky, who was on here last week and has been so instrumental in helping us create Lazy Agent, is very avidly involved in that community of growth. And so yesterday, I noticed that it had crossed the final threshold. They had started to release AI clones for adults only, and it was very interesting to see what they had put out there and the teases that they were using to get people to come in. And basically, you can create your own little companion to do anything that you want. So, AI has finally gotten to mainstream America where you can go spend money to enjoy yourself. But I think the thing that's most interesting about that is I was reading an article about it and talked about customer support. And they're saying now that 95% of all customer support in the United States is being fronted by an AI to start with. In other words, you got to get through an AI to begin with. Now, that's not anything new because there have been IVR chains where you've had integrated voice response, press one for sales, two for all that. Been around a long time. But now it's interpretive, it understands what you're saying, and it really can answer a lot of your questions. Um, and initially I didn't believe it. I'm like, no, that's not possible. It's not 95%. Well, the reality is it's probably 100% of the majority of the 100% of the companies that spend the most on customer support, that have the largest amount of customer support people, the, Amazons, Walmarts, the people whose phones ring off the hook constantly, anybody that's a big box retailer, any of the major manufacturers, anybody that's a product focused company, they're all throwing AI at it because it's not only more efficient, it's more accurate. It's a better explanation of how they want things said. It's always a troubling thing to know that you put somebody on the phone and you never really know exactly what they're going to say. And you have a corporate message that you want to deliver, and you have to be careful that it's being delivered correctly, especially today. So that's another aspect of AI that's important. But for you guys, where it becomes important is that it allows you to put your best foot forward all the time. And that's the key element in it, is that if it's done right, if the AI agent is correctly, and you're not trying to hide it, you're not saying, you're trying to convince them it's somebody real, be proud of what you've created. If you work in a environment where you can create that and you do get yourself a clone that, takes your calls and initially does that first bit of processing, great way to do that. Answer a lot of questions. It's also a great way to do it about every listing that you have. If you've got information about a listing, not only can you have the AI agent talk about it, but the AI agent can show them a virtual tour. It can take down a lot of information from them. It can do a lot of the work that you would do yourself and do it exactly the way you want it. So we're going to talk some more about that, in the coming weeks, because we're we're doing some things to productize some of that. I know Matt is working with it as well, and the tools are just advancing so rapidly. And I don't really want this to devolve into AI hour, but I think it would be helpful for you to see some examples of what people are doing out there, so that you kind of understand why this works, why it works as well as it does, and can begin to conceive of how you put it into your business. So I think we're going to be working on that. And Matt, I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about that, and we'll talk about how to kind of interweave all that together. And I know Bruce is getting involved in it as well, and all of our coaches are experiencing it. So it's important to know that and know that we're on it, and that's really kind of where we're heading. I think the first 3 months of this year are going to be uh, being able to deploy something in that arena. And it's easy to get something out there. It's not easy to get something out well done. And you don't want to, just throw money at something, because you'll be throwing it at it and you'll be throwing at it again for the next one and the next one until you get one that's right. So we're going to try to vet it and try to make sure that we get it right. And the group that we talked about, and I'll finish this monologue in a second, the group that we talked about, they spend every waking moment working on AI. Every new product that comes out, I get things at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning in my inbox that I may not see until the first thing in the morning. They're up working around the clock because they're global. So as a new product gets released in AI, there are no 9 to 5s in that world anymore. The team that's working on it could be in Tunisia, or it could be in South America or the Philippines, or, Santa Clara, California, or New York City. They're all working together. And at some point, somebody says, okay, this is ready to go. Let's roll it out. Put the changelog out there, release a new product. And they'll do that sometimes 3 and 4 times in a week. I was on the phone with the last part of this, on the phone with one of them yesterday, late in the day, and we were talking about one of the major products that's taking great advantage of AI, which is a CRM called Go High Level. And I was talking to one of the principals, and I said, well, how often is there a release? He goes, oh, pretty often. I said, well, what's pretty often? He said, well, sometimes more than once a day. I'm like, holy cow. That's putting a new rev of the product out there all the time. And they said, how do you keep up with it? He chuckled. He said, how do you think? I said, oh, let me guess, AI? He goes, yep, that's right. He said, we've got AI monitoring every line of code, and when the line of code changes, AI looks at it, compares it to the previous one, and tries the logic out. If there's any question about the logic, it surfaces the logic back to the developer, and the developer has to prove that it's good to go. And he said it has revolutionized our quality control. So just in a small world like software, which isn't small anymore, but just in that little arena, AI is revolutionizing it because they're not putting out bad code anymore. Unless you're on Verizon, right, Jim?
Yeah, I was down all day yesterday. I didn't realize it for a couple of hours. Like, why is my phone so quiet? Oh, because I'm not getting or receiving any calls.
You get your
Yeah, they had said it.
They're going to give you $20.
They didn't mention Florida. What's that?
They're going to give you $20 though.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, more like 20 cents probably. Florida wasn't supposed to be an affected area, but my whole family was down all day pretty much. So it goes to show how much we take it for granted. I was just thinking of something, Tim, and again, we're not going to turn this into a technology hour, but if you ever read the book, The Singularity is Near, that was, it's about a 15-year-old book now, and there's a new version of it that came out, but they talk about how technology used to double every 100 years, then it was every generation. And with the advent of the computer, the thing was it was doubling every 5 to 10 years. But they are predicting with AI that the total, spectrum of technology by 2030 will double every hour, which is just mind-boggling. How quickly things are. I think we're going to see more change in the next 10 years than we've seen in our lifetime. And our friend, Richard Roop always says it well. You're probably not going to lose your job to AI, but you might lose your job to somebody who knows how to use it better. So, like anything else, it's a tool. And I'm kind of struck with what Eileen said. There's still going to be a need for human conversations and people. I don't think AI can answer questions, but I don't think it can coach anywhere near as well as a human can. So that's the good, the bad, and the ugly of it, I guess.
There's a new term that I think is probably important to think about, and that it's kind of a, it's kind of a telephony term, the last mile. For years and years, the telephone company was stuck, and anybody who else wanted to be one was stuck because of the wiring. Physical wiring slowed everything down. It slowed down our ability to grow quickly and all of that. We look at it as empowering, and it's exactly the opposite. In a country, take a third world country. A third world country didn't start out with wired internet. They started out with satellite internet. Everything they've done has been based on it's coming from the sky. So they've been able to hop over wired technology in a lot of cases and have a faster infrastructure in a lot of respects than we do. Here, we're catching up now, and fiber is going everywhere, and that's cool. But being stuck with the tech is a problem. But the point that I was making is that, you made a really good point, and Richard makes a good point as well. Somebody who knows how to use AI better than I do, is likely to be coming after the job that I do. I think that's very true. I think one of the things you got to realize is that one of the things we have to be smart about is where can we be that last mile? Where's the best place for us to, as technology moves, continue to be in a place of adding value and then maximizing that value. And I think it's that human interaction part of it that we bring to the game that nobody else does. Your AI is going to get you so far, but AIs are not good enough today to do nuance. They don't understand that little lilt in someone's voice or that, oh, I shouldn't have said that, that you just know instinctively that didn't land as well as you wanted. So we need to work on the things that we provide unique excellence in, and man, as quickly as possible, throw cheap technology at stuff that people are going to accept so quickly now. I used to get so ticked off at calling IVRs. I don't anymore. Doesn't bother me. I just accept it. It is what it is and keep moving on. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. We're going to expose you to more of this, have people come on here and tell you how wonderful it is, but more importantly, try to find ways to make sure that it literally goes where it's supposed to be for you and helps you continue to grow your business. Steve, you look like you're freezing there, buddy. I see you there. You just got on and joined us. You look cold.
Yeah, it's a little chilly here, and I got all the snivel gear on here in Pennsylvania, so I'm headed home. My appointment overran. That's why I'm late. Sorry about that.
Ah, looked like you were freezing to death. What's the temperature like there?
It's in the teens, and the wind's blowing pretty good, so it's probably somewhere in the single digits with wind chill. So,
Lovely.
yeah.
Yeah, it's in the low 60s here in Florida today. We're suffering badly.
Well, I understand if it gets below 60 in Florida, people break out the winter coats, so I get that.
Oh yeah, we've been in them since Christmas. It's been cold here. I've got my big hat I usually wear. All
Well,
right.
California is in the low 30s.
I was just going to ask Bill,
Wow.
what's going on with you?
Just trying to, weather-wise, business-wise, coaching-wise.
Pick one you like, brother.
So weather is about 30 degrees. Coaching has been really fun. All the new people that have signed up recently have just been loaded with excitement and exuberance to add a new spoke to their business. That has been really, the last 6 coaching calls I have been great. They've come prepared, pen in hand. They want to know the fastest way to set up and get started, and they have great questions. So that has been great. Business wise, I mean, California, my area, is popping. All the flippers, which started in just November and December, are buying homes. A lot of first-time home buyers are getting pre-approved. I'm hearing that from our local lenders. So I'm pretty optimistic that 2026 is going to be way better than the last 2 years. So I'm pretty excited.
How is price migration? What's going on there? Prices going up or down?
Um, oh, definitely overall down. I mean, let's just say you're from June of 2025, we're definitely 3% down or 5% down. And what's been really holding true is homes are selling somewhere between 93 and 97% of list. Very rarely, unless they're brand new and popping, are they going at full price or even over. But if it's like completely gut remodeled, really well done, when I say well done, you have a functional kitchen that flows, you have a master bathroom that flows, not somebody just, threw cabinets in and, the refrigerator's on one side, the stove's on the other side, and the sink is really far away, right? That's just not functional. But so the functional houses they're going really quick, like 10 days.
And are most of the sellers that are selling it taking a big profit, or have they held it for a long time?
Are you talking about the flippers, or are you talking about
Anybody who's selling a single family home, it's the
so
time of ownership. How long have they been in general owning it?
So if it's a mom and pop that have owned it for 20 years, they don't seem to be too tied to the price. They seem to be willing to really come down. I mean, hey, they probably bought it for a couple hundred grand and they're selling for a million. So what's 100 grand to them? But I think the flippers, the big thing I've noticed with a flipper is, or brand new construction, is if there is no lien on the property, they're just holding for their price. They'll go ahead and wait 180 day to get their price. But if there's a loan on it, they're coming down. And there's a couple of fire areas that have brand new construction, and those flippers are losing money. You could do it per square foot and know they're losing 100, 200 grand to get rid of it. So it's kind of all over the board. I don't think there's one way. And I don't see short sales totally coming back. I really thought they were gonna come back in the major way. I'd say the biggest shocking thing for my business. So if you look at my business, it's probate, divorce, uh, flippers, distressed properties, which is NODs, abatements, etc. And what I've really noticed is the people that have gotten reverse mortgages, they have outlived the reverse mortgage. And I don't think it hits them in their mind that they can stay in the house, but when the money runs out, now they have to pay the property tax and they have to pay the insurance. And if they're on a fixed income and they haven't been planning on that, then they end up in trouble.
Right, and there's no equity.
And with no equity. And nobody realizes, I don't have an amortization table, but from what I've seen is the last 4 or 3 years, that loan just eats, because you're paying interest on interest now, a lot of interest on interest. It just eats up the last of your equity very fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
It might be worth finding a reverse mortgage lender and trying to get some early leads out of them, try to get them
Yeah.
24 to 36 months before that happens, because it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I noticed, if you do a deed search under US HUD, reverse mortgage, or anything that has a reverse mortgage in there, it comes up with a whole list of those.
Yeah, so that may be a great place to start looking.
Yeah.
And, prepare a presentation that basically says, hey, if you got one of these and you've got less than 3 years remaining on your note or on your pay, uh, got any plans?
Yeah, exactly. And
Because
then and then the other thing I just want to say to everybody is divorce. I don't know what it's like in everybody else area, but we're still in financial distress, and the divorces from when I've started for the 2 counties I do have tripled, almost to the point where there's too many leads now. I never thought I'd say that, but
well, I mean, stress in the United States of America is at probably the highest point in most of our lifetimes right now.
yeah,
If the surveys that talk about that right now are calling it out, and it's having a dramatic effect on divorces and counseling and mental health and
yeah,
all the things that you would expect to be problematic in regard to stress are there.
exactly.
People are looking for stress relief all the time, and we may not think we have it, but if you sit back and think about, you know, when you put your head down at night, are you going right to sleep? Are there things rattling around in there that are like, man, I should have, wow, what if, golly, I mean, just getting your brain freed up to be able to go to sleep sometimes, not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Well, it's not. And then, also the ownership of real estate is just gone up. I mean, California has always been the price, but our insurance is going up. But let's just look at Florida. Florida's insurance is insane. Plus, you guys have your car insurance and I guess it's property tax. I mean, the cities and counties, I don't care where you are always looking for more money, and I don't know of, my daughter goes with farmers, and I goes to school with farmers, and I said, so are you going to lower the prices since gas went down? Because their fertilizer is half, their gas has gone way down. That's their two major expenses. And they go, no, we got to make up for what we lost the last 3 or 4 years.
You know, it's interesting, Bill, you mentioned Florida. Not only has the insurance gone up, but I'm not going to mention the name, but I've got a major carrier I've been with for 40 years. We had a tornado tear off our garage roof. It took me 2 years to get a check.
Yeah.
I mean, and the attorneys will tell you they're in the deny everything mode. And because 20% of the people will just take their denial, and the longer they can wait to pay you, it's a business like anything else, but it's unfortunate. They're not.
Well, look at what they're doing in Palisades, right? I mean, there's
Yep.
so few homes that have been rebuilt. And then, in the coffee, which is the Sonoma fires, the first one, there are still people waiting to get their checks out of AAA.
Sure.
Mhm.
Hey, Tim, Travis is here.
I thought you
Matthew.
meant what?
Okay, Matthew had a question. You want to take him first, or you want to go to Travis?
Who did?
Matthew had a question. Matthew Vandercom about what we were talking about.
I don't see a hand up anywhere, but I'm looking.
I don't know how to put my hand up. I just put it in the
I just unmuted him.
chat.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, okay, so I have a question, and I don't know if you want to get to this later or not, but I've been on these weekly meetings for a little bit, but I just bought last month, just before Christmas, my first set of leads. I'm a loan originator in Michigan, so I'm not a real estate agent. So the leads that I bought were the divorce leads. And so for the people like Bill who uses them all the time, I'm still trying to get a good script down on what to say, because I don't want to be that dick, this is what I'm going to say, that comes in that says, hey, you're going through a divorce. How can I make money off of you? But at the same time, so I'm trying to figure out how is a good way of entering into the conversation and then segueing into how I can help them out. Because as a loan originator, I've got agents that can help them sell it. I've got investors if they want to get rid of it quickly, if they need to refinance or buy another house. That's what I'm here for. But I've only had, because Christmas and New Year's, I wasn't able to call a whole lot. And then it seemed like everybody in my family has been sick over the last couple weeks. I've only made a few phone calls, but I'm still kind of stumbling through what is a good thing to say. Hoping somebody could give me some advice.
Bill Bird, do you want to take a quick shot to start with?
Sure. So the first thing you don't want to do is bring up divorce,
Mm-hmm.
because it becomes a failure. Um, Although I've changed my letter a little bit, it seems to be working a little better. I call it life-changing events. Um, but so when you call them, you just want to approach it as an open-ended call. So if I was in the mortgage business, I'd say, hi, my name's Bill Bird, and I was just looking for some people to help. And I noticed that you have a mortgage dated da 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 da. And I was wondering if you might be interested in refinancing or some open-ended question. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the script that I like the most for real estate is Sullivan's script, which I now call mine. He called, but anyway, uh, is that, hi, my name's Bill Bird, and I don't know if this is applicable to you or not, but your home raised its hand and said that it might be ready to be sold. And then normally the response that I get is, what do you mean my house raised its hand? Oh, I have this geeky guy who's really into real estate and computers, and he sends me a list of homes that have raised their hand to be sold. And normally something has something triggers it, something is filed, the age of the home, somebody might have passed away. And then that seems to get the conversation going where there's a divorce, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was doing the lenders, I would just, and I was a lender for 25 years, I would go in there a little more neutral of just trying to help them either get a better interest rate or maybe pull some equity to buy something out. Because I have a process in divorces that I want to be done before I really get going when they start talking to me. So the first thing I really want to get to them is a CMA and an estimated closing statement. The second thing I want, because it always comes out, is one partner wants to buy out the other partner. Okay. Husband, wife, whatever. So I send them to my lender, and it has worked out. She's gotten deals from it. I think she's got 2 or 3, maybe 4. And that's great. So if there's one that can buy the other one out, they're getting a loan. I did my job, and it's not a deal for me, but it's off my plate, right? It's handled, right? So I move on to the next. So that's this kind of thing. And I really feel like having the divorcees talk to somebody about getting a loan is the way to go. Because when I first started, I would start getting in the process, and then it turned out one person was buying the other out. That was just a big waste of time for me.
Well, and that's the reason I bought the divorce leads, is because though I don't want anybody to go through a divorce, I want the one that's going to buy the other one out, because then I can refinance them.
What's your market, may I ask?
I'm in West Michigan.
Okay. What's the house values?
I'm only in one county right now. The average house value in that county is about 300,000.
What's the average income in that house? And the average income per person, not household.
I can do a quick Google search, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's something to ask yourself so that you can kind of gauge whether this is how many refis are you really going to get out of there, right? So, I mean, if they're going to buy it out, let's say they own 240, they have 60 grand, someone's going to need to qualify for a 270 loan. So they got to make almost 90 grand. I don't know. Maybe you know the numbers, but I would think they would need to make somewhere around, I don't know, 90, 80 grand to get a 270 mortgage. I could be wrong.
Yeah, roughly. I was gonna say that's why I picked the county that I did, is because in my area it's one of the average household income is $110,000 in that county. Just a simple Google search.
That's cool.
So, and that's why I picked it, is because it's the county that encompasses part of Lake Michigan, and also it encompasses off of Lake Michigan, where there is a good status of people that make 100 to 100 or $100 to $200,000 a year that just live in this belt, and it's pretty much the whole entire county minus a couple of rural areas.
So if you send me an email at bill@byrd.re, I'll send you my new video, which I mean not video, my letter that um, talks about talking to a lender about getting buying out the. It's very short because I want them to sell, but
Yeah.
you could take that and change it around to what works for you.
Well, and that's the thing is, okay, so let me make sure. Bill at, and then Bird, RE.
Yeah, BYRD RE is in real estate. Yeah.
All right, .com, I'm assuming.
.com. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, and that's my whole entire thing, is obviously my number one goal would be to have, to get something out of it for me, either refinancing or they're looking at buying a house um after they get a divorce and everything. But it's also to, connect agents to them if they need to sell fast, connect investors that I already have, because then I can get, the investor to go through me or whatever needs to be done to get it.
Oh, you're going to create a lot of loyalty. I think that's a great idea. I think it's a
Yeah.
great plan. How many
Yeah,
lenders bring a lead to a realtor?
exactly
Almost none.
0 to none of them.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
well, and that's my whole entire thing. Like, I started looking at all the leads like 6 months ago, and I'm like, eh. But then once I started looking at I didn't even know they were divorced. You guys had divorce leads at the time. But once I figured that out, then I saw the connections that I can do. Like I said, that's why I bought it. That's why I started getting them, because they're awesome. I just need to get better at them. So that's why I'm here.
Right. And then, so the other thing you want to do is, so when you do a letter, right? So you want to know how many you sent out, and not so many, how many responses, but how many people, when you talk to them, they know the letter, they kind of have some memory of that letter, something, right? And that's kind of how you're going to gauge the effectiveness of your letter. The other thing that I want to say is you should really study up, just like in probate, study up on what your law is, right? Bruce really made me aware of what I did know about probate. Now, California is mostly trusts, but California divorce law is not that hard. You basically are not divorced for until you're 6 months, and the property could be settled or not settled afterwards.
State of
So,
Michigan.
yeah, as opposed to other states, as soon as you sign the paper, you're divorced.
Yeah, Michigan, you can go through the whole entire divorce, be divorced, and still have a house out there, but you've already
Yeah,
figured out, you've already settled on what to do with the house. You're just
exactly.
waiting for it to sell. So,
California, yeah, California, same thing.
yeah.
And then the last thing I want to say about divorces is that there is some pressure at some point after the papers are filed or even before, they want to get this thing done. Whatever it looks like, they want to get it done most
Yep.
of the time.
Yep, that's why I'm creating avenues that if they just want it, sold fast or something needs to be done fast, I've got ideas for that too. Two more questions, real quick. One is generally I've only made phone calls when it comes to calling in or when leads and stuff like that. Other than making phone calls, text messaging, emails, that sort of thing, you send out letters. Is there any other forms in which you try to contact these people?
So sometimes I will send a quick email to the divorce attorney. I mean, that's the greatest thing about ATL is the information is so amazing, right?
Oh yeah, I did not know how much information came with this. I thought it was just gonna be like names and numbers and that was it.
No,
No, it's
no.
fully skip traced.
Yeah, I mean, Tim could tell you everything they go through to process. I've tried other probate leads, and trust me, they're not even close to as good as there. But so I have contacted some attorneys. So the people that I'm meeting with today and the people I'm meeting with Sunday all came from a divorce attorney that I just sent an email to. But I don't spend a lot of time with attorneys either on probate or that. I just feel like there's creative things going on with attorneys and realtors that are loyal to each other. The other thing I just want to give you an opportunity is I've really learned that probate and divorce just flow together so well as far as your marketing, what you're going to use, some of the techniques. And if you're going to develop this on divorce, I would definitely say take 90 days of getting divorce fully going or 120. Then I would flow into probate because you're just going to call these people or send a letter that offers them some type of loan to help them get the home ready. But what you're really looking for is for them just to contact you so you can kick it to a realtor. I mean, if you gave 10 referrals a year out to 10 different realtors, those guys would be so loyal to you. And the average realtor has got to close 5 or 6 deals, right? So
Hmm.
by getting 10 referrals, that's 60 deals,
Oh
right?
yeah, I've already thought about that too. I'm starting with
Yeah.
this and then I'm going to, go from there. All right, last question, and then I think I'll be good for right now. Plus I've got your email so I can pick your brain later. Um, Husband, wife, do you call both? And have you had any issues where generally speaking, I'm assuming they don't talk, but if they do talk, where they realize that you're calling both, or do you just go with the fact of, hey, I was just given, a name, both of your names are on there, so I'm just trying to get a hold of both of you.
Um, so I don't, it's never been really come up an issue for me where I've talked to the husband or talked to the wife and then they didn't want me marketing the other person. I do make sure they understand confidentiality is confidentiality.
Hmm.
But if, let's say I get the husband and then I will ask the husband, and I haven't talked to the wife, I will ask for permission to talk to the wife, or I'll say, what do you think about me calling your wife and kind of coordinating a time for us to meet, right? Or whatever I'm trying to do, right? I want to get some acknowledgement that we're moving ahead and it's cool to talk to the wife. Sometimes the husband says, I'd rather you talk to my attorney, or the wife says, I'd rather talk. You just follow whatever they tell you to do.
Okay.
Right. You're right. And most of all, the biggest thing I've known, and it's paid off really well, is I've always kept Joe Cool neutral. And I say this all, my first divorce, sold $1.7 million house. Then I sold each one $1 million plus house.
Hmm.
And I was not expecting that at all.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Matthew, one quick question I want to ask you. Do you make a point of letting your prospective customers know that unlike other lenders, you are able to work with lenders that don't count their current payment against them?
No.
Do you have lenders like that you can work with?
Oh yeah. I don't make a point of saying it, but I should.
Yeah, you definitely should, because a lot of what stops people from even considering it, they're like, well, I'm going to have to rent someplace till I get on my feet, is they don't know that those kinds of mortgages are available. And so you need to drop that into your conversation, into your mailers, or anywhere else you can get it there. It's a great way to get that discussion started. I know, Matt, you had your hand up earlier, and I think Christine as well. If you want, or Francine rather, feel free to raise your hand again. But Jim, I'm going to flip it back to you, and I let you talk to your bud that you recruited for the day here.
Absolutely. And Travis, go ahead and unmute yourself if you would. Travis Wade, or raise your hand and we'll unmute you. I'm sorry. You know how to raise your hand? There you go.
Unmuted, bud.
All right. Hey, Travis, how you doing?
Good. How you doing? Let me get my camera going here. I'm not having a little difficulty getting this camera going.
It looked like you were sitting in your car. Did you pull off the road to talk to us?
Yeah, I pulled off a grocery store, and I'm gonna talk to you guys, and I'll hop out and do my thing here. But I cannot get my camera going. But anyway, I'll just leave it like that. You can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. If you're able to. I could see you before, but if you're able to get the camera, that's fine. If not,
trying. I don't know. It's not letting me do it.
You're a fine-looking, handsome man. Let's go.
Hey, Travis was nice enough. A good probably year and a half, 2 years ago, he came on, and Travis has been getting leads from us in Texas in 8 different counties for over 5 years. And he came on a couple of years ago and shared some of his successes in probate. And a couple of things I remember from that conversation, Travis, you were very humble. You said, I'm not killing it. I'm doing a couple, 3 deals a month, which is killing it for for most agents. And one thing you shared with us at the time was, yeah, sure, come get me deals, but I think you had shared that your average conversion time was somewhere around 8 months. So you're fanatical about lead follow-up until you convert the lead. And Travis recently, I think several months ago, decided to try late mortgage leads, and not a big surprise, he's having some great success with the late mortgage. And I asked him to come on and kind of share what you've been doing with late mortgage and what's working for you, Travis.
Yeah. So I've been with you guys for years just because it works, right? I started with probate, and probate, it's kind of like ambulance chasers, right? It's sustainable. I've tried to send blasts out to zip codes. You go to business like that. I was spending 10 grand, 6 grand a month and getting nothing, right? So then that was years ago. So I found you guys. I said, let me try this real quick. Your advertising got me. You had a lot of marketing going out, and I kept seeing you guys, all the leads. What is this going? What's going on with this? So I tried it years ago, started closing deals, and I never looked back. So, I get a deal or two off of everything I get. Every month, I'll pull a list. I'll get, now this may not convert for 2 years. I've talked to people for 2 years. So I have a serious follow-up routine I have, and I continue to follow up with you. I'll tell you at least, I have AI now, so until you say stop it removes you completely, or you sell it to someone else that outbids me, or you get a listing. Now I'm trying to pull those listings and offer that service too, because I'm a realtor in the county that I'm in, which is Harris County. But in Dallas County and Collin County and Fort Bend County, all these other counties that I don't have access to, I'm just wholesaling out there and, flipping if I can, but rarely if the deal good enough to flip it out there. But yeah, man, right now I have the last late mortgage list I got was October. and I have 2 listings from that list. And I had a divorce list. I tell you, I just saw this. The divorce list I got, man, I think it was like August of last year. I think I tried divorce leads with you guys once or twice. And I have a listing from that under contract now, and they had a leak. And I'm a contractor as well. So not only am I going to get the sale from the listing, I'm going to get the repair of the leak via the insurance claim as well. So that was awesome. So late mortgage leads are great. They work great, but they take a while to convert, just like probate. So if you're starting these leads, just understand, if you don't have a follow-up campaign that you are weekly attending and nurturing, then you're not gonna get it, because I'm gonna do it. Somebody else is, and there's a lot of folks like me. They're hearing from a lot of folks. So it's your ability to develop rapport, and when you call them, they know your name. You know, that's the only way you're gonna close these deals.
Hey, Travis, to elaborate a little bit on your follow-up campaign, when I last spoke to you, oh gosh, a year and a half ago, you said, I'm going to have my assistant, Joseph, I scheduled an appointment to talk to Tim, and you said, I'm going to have my assistant, Joseph, call you back, and he confirms all my appointments. I had really pleasant, probably 3 to 5 minute conversation with Joseph. I had a couple objections, asked him a couple questions, and I hung up thinking, wow, nice guy. And then you've texted me back, what did you think of my AI? So Joseph, you're the one that got me interested in AI. So I want to thank you for that. And is he the core of your lead follow-up program? Or how does that work? What's working so well for you that you're converting the leads 6-8 months, a year later? Is Joseph an integral part of it, or is he just a side factor?
Well, when I first started, I didn't have Joseph. So it's just, hard follow-up works, right? I have the reminders app. I have an iPhone. I just stick everybody in there, and you can set your reminders app to remind you once a month. It'll come up, and you just cycle them through, call them, text them. But now that I have Joseph, Joseph calls and texts everybody, and receives calls and responds 24 hours a day. And when I get an appointment, Joseph will call an hour before and confirm that the time's not changed. He'll text them. They can call back, and he'll reference the address so they know, hey, you call. Thanks for calling me back. You have an appointment today at 123 Main Street with Travis. That time still work? That kind of thing. So it's just an added, helpful benefit, but you don't need AI if you're just starting off. This is, it's a big, hefty price tag to start, and it's a monthly obligation too. So if you're just starting, you don't need it. You just basically got to follow up these folks, somehow get a CRM within your phone, or get, Go High Level or something to where you can keep track of these folks as they pile on, as you get lists and you get people saying, hey, I'm still in probate. That's a lead. Put it in there, call them back next month. Hey, any progress on that? And just keep going. Oh, the judge pushed it back a month. Okay, cool. Can I call you back in February? Yeah, sure. I'll call you back in February. Oh, okay, well, my sister's moving some stuff out. Can you give me another month? Yeah, another month. So just follow up is the only way, because somebody else is calling them just like you are.
So, Travis, last question for me, and then we'll throw it open to the group and see if any of our coaches have a question. But Bill referenced how similar probate and divorce was in its approach. Would you say the same is true of late mortgage, or have you tweaked anything, or you pretty much taken the same approach?
I think late mortgage and foreclosures are related, right? Because we do both. So late mortgage and foreclosures, and then divorce leads and probate. Yeah, they go hand in hand. I think I've run into a few people that, I guess late mortgage leads, divorce leads, somebody's getting divorced, they may not have died. So some of them do land on the same list, they are different. They are definitely different. A lot of my folks, very few of my folks that are on the probate lists are also on the divorce list. Because usually
my question is, though, do you use a different approach? Do you use a different script?
No.
Okay.
So with divorce leads, everybody, you don't reference divorce because that usually pisses people off. They're like, what do you mean? Like, I know their business, and it kind of offends them. So it's only like, hey, I'm looking to buy your house. We buy as is. And that usually gets them, yeah, I'm getting a divorce, I'm looking to sell it. So I ask everybody blanket, I'm interested in your house, whether that's probate, whether that's divorce, whether that's late mortgage. The only thing that's different I'd use is foreclosures. I change a little bit and I try to get them to say, hey, look, don't leave your house. We can help you stay, because we do buy them from the auctions and I know people want to stay. And a lot of these folks that get in foreclosure and they bought at the auctions, those purchasers are landlords and they do want them to stay. So it's a way to get them to say, how do I stay? Oh, okay. Well, we try to get in there and buy it before it goes to foreclosure. But that's the only thing that's different. But everything else is, we buy houses, that kind of thing.
And then you got your real estate license just in case you can't buy it.
Oh, I've had my license for 21 years. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you have the license
Sure.
first. Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Any other questions? Tim, Bill, anybody else have any? Bruce?
Nope, I think that's great.
Bruce is
I
good.
think that's a key element, and I think, we always learn a lot. I think one of the more interesting things that I got out of today's call was, what Matthew's up to and how Travis is deploying it in his market. But I think the issue that I'm interested in learning more about is how effective, it's going to be as we watch Matthew go through this, and Matthew, ought to ask you, come back and check in with us and let us know how it's going as you hand out leads. So I think that's going to be important. And I think it's also, the reason I'm asking that is that it's also something that should entice you people, if you would, to give some thought to looking at that the other way around. Go find a Matthew in your market as well. Find that lender who's aggressively out there pursuing it. And that's the kind of lender you want to work with. And might be able to find somebody not only that you can work with, but you might both want to split the leads up from a cost standpoint. And it's a good way to get it done and find a partner that's going to work it aggressively. You're both working it just from two different angles. You'll find leads for him, he'll find leads for you and or she, and it'll work out well for you. So guys, we got 4 minutes left. We'll take one more question, call, observation, or some brilliant thing that you'd like to offer that will help everybody make millions of dollars between now and next week.
Hey, Tim, Francine had her hand up. Francine, did you still have a question? So you can...
She did. I asked her if she'd raise it earlier, and she didn't. I think she was talking about some travel she had coming up and handled it in the chat.
Okay, great.
Guys, if that's it, we're not going to sit here and make you sit for the rest of 4 minutes while we talk to each other. We appreciate it. If anybody wants to raise your hand and say anything else, you got one more round to go do that. Click the little heart down there and say raise hand, and we'll call on you. Otherwise, I'm going to count to 3 and we're going to call it a day and let Jim do his see you later. 1, 2, Jimmy.
All right, great call again, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here today. I want to particularly thank Connor, Aline, Matthew, Bill, Steve, Francine, and Travis for actively participating. And as I always do, I want to challenge each of you. A lot of good ideas on the call today. Just take one idea that inspired you, go out and put it into practice, and please come back next Thursday and share your results with the group. Thank you, everybody. See you same time next Thursday. Take care.